Hi everybody, welcome back to my modern homestead. I'm Janet and I'm so glad you are here. Today we're working on more green beans, which is a great thing, and we're working on our sourdough challenge. Now, earlier before we worked on the beans, we put together a cake. Alyssa actually whipped it up for me. I got her the recipe and I helped very little. She did it herself, but this is a sourdough chocolate cake made from sourdough discard. I had a lot in my jar and I didn't want it to go to waste. So I took out some for this recipe and I used part of the discard for the cake. So today what we are making is another one of Gina's recipes. And Gina has the blog homejoys.blogspot.com. It's a great blog. I've been following it for years. So I asked permission, in case you missed my last sourdough challenge, if I could use her recipes and give her credit, and she graciously agreed. So today we are going to make sourdough grissini with a twist. We're going to be using pesto with it, but first things first, I've got to get it mixed up because it has a 3-hour rise time on it. So let's go. Here is our recipe. 1 cup of white flour, 1½ cups of whole wheat flour, 1 cup of water, 1½ teaspoons of salt, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 1 cup of sourdough starter, and then you can use any one of these to top it with. And we'll combine all the ingredients except for the topping, mix it well, add more flour if we need it, but make sure the dough is soft, allow it to rest 10 minutes, then knead for 5. Then we want to place it in a greased bowl and allow it to rise for 3 hours. And once an hour during that time, we're going to gently fold and turn it to stretch the gluten. And it will be ready to do the rest. So, I already have my flours in the bowl. We have our 1 cup of water, our 1½ teaspoons of salt, our 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and our starter. Ooh, it's blurry. What in the world? Here we go. So let's go. Okie doke. The mixing of this seems to be straightforward and simple. I did go ahead and pour my water in, and I'm going to mix that up to let some of the water soak into the flour. I just poured it in there and let it sit while we were setting up the camera, and I was cleaning up a little bit. So, in goes our salt. In goes our olive oil. Just going to stir that salt around a little bit before I put in the sourdough starter. Alright, let's pour in the sourdough starter. I actually used all that I had in my jar, so what I thought was discard, I'm glad I didn't throw away, because now I need to feed this and make more so that we have it for our next recipe. So we just mix this all up. Sure seems like I need something else in here, but that's all the recipe says. Okay, can y'all see that? This is a nice soft dough. It is a little bit sticky, but I think I actually got it right this time. It was hard to mix with that spoon, so I'm just going to give it a mix in my hands, and then we'll let it rest. All right, let's get this dough out and let's knead it for 5 minutes. Alrighty, we've been kneading for about 5 minutes. So what we're going to do is just take this up. See, it's sticky, but it's not so sticky that it's unmanageable, and that's great. put it in a bowl this way, and then I'm going to flip it over. And there we go. We're just going to leave it for a few minutes, or excuse me, not a few minutes, about 3 hours. All right, guys, we're going to whip up a little recipe to go with our grissini. I can't do this one-handed, so I just need a few sprigs of basil. Oh, this smells so good. Let's get it in the house and wash it. Look at there, my purple hulls decided to bloom. I hope we get plenty. I like to try to get enough for a whole year, so we'll see what happens. Okay, let's just rinse this off real quick. Alright, this is going to go on our chicken for tonight. I'm doing a chicken basil pasta. That's what I'm trying to say, a chicken basil pasta. I've got too many things going on, I can't think. I don't want to use all of this. I'm going to use some of this to go on the pasta. So I'm just gonna get it in a little tight roll. Doesn't have to be perfect. We're just going to sprinkle it over the chicken. There we go, that's good enough. I'm just a couple cross cuts. And that's it. Okay, we're just going to drizzle a little olive oil over the chicken. Hold on, let me turn this off. Alright, let's sprinkle some garlic powder. Melissa says you can't have enough garlic. A little onion powder. What is it?
You need more.
Ah, see? Just giving me the eyeball. A little sea salt. And a little lemon juice. We'll also put this in the pasta when it's done. And then I'm going to take the basil and just sprinkle it over. And that's all we need to do. You can rub in the olive oil a little bit with the spices if you would like. It's just going to be wrapped up in this foil. And then we're going to cook it in the crock pot for, I don't know, about 2 hours, 3 hours maybe. Not long because these are thin cuts of chicken. So let me get my hands clean and we'll wrap it up. Alright, so roll this over. We're going to make a little pocket. And then we'll take another piece of foil. Wrap it over the top. Alrighty, and then in our crock pot, we're going to add about a cup of water, cup and a half actually. And then can you see down in here, I have the canning rings. I'm just going to set our pocket right on top. And that's it, guys. We'll turn this on high and let it go till it's done. Alrighty guys, what we're going to do now is boil our pasta. I will salt this water a little, and this is just regular old shell pasta. You can use whatever you like. I lost count, guys. I'm serving 4 people, and for 4 people, or actually 1 person, you should have 3/4 of a cup of shell pasta that is dry. I lost count. I don't remember how many scoops. It was either 4 or 5. So if we have a little too much, it's quite okay. My husband's a great big eater. So let's get this pasta into the boiling water. And we'll let it cook for about 10 minutes or just until tender. And we are going to have a salad with this, but just to bump up the veggies just a hair, I added about a handful of peas and carrots that were frozen into this. So just let them cook with the pasta. All right, while the pasta is cooking, let's get our chicken done. Ooh, that's hot. Be careful with it. I wasn't thinking. I forgot it wasn't closed up. And I let the broth drain out. But if you don't do that, your crock pot will still be clean when you're done. There we go. It smells so good. All I'm going to do is take the chicken pieces out. Ooh, hot, hot, hot. Just came out of the crock pot. Oh, ooh, catch those juices if you can. Don't make a mess like me. All right, and then we're just going to give them a little chop. This is very easy. The pieces aren't tender. Excuse me, the pieces are tender. The only pieces that won't be tender are where the cartilage and whatnot is. Just give it a rough chop and we'll be back. All right, almost finished. Now at this point, what we're going to do is just put it over in our bowl. All right, let's get this drained. Let's take it over to the sink. I already have a colander there. Ooh, fogged up my lens. Now we want to cool the pasta off, so we just rinse it with cold water. Once it's cool enough to touch, we'll get in there and toss it around. Just keep going around the bowl until it's nice and cool. All right, the recipe says to cut this into 3 pieces, and that's not going to work. Yes, in case you've missed it in one of the videos, we do now have dogs. Well, that's not exactly 3 even pieces now, is it? It'll just have to work. Poor Alyssa, she put too much oil in here. So anyway, let's take 1 piece, and it says to flatten it into about a 4-inch by 6-inch rectangle. Okay, then it says to cover liberally with pesto. Is that liberally? I don't know. So then we cut each one into 8 long strips. So 1, divide it in half. Divide it in half. I don't know how in the world. Divide those in half again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alrighty. Then it says to stretch each one about the length of your. Oh, didn't say anything about breaking it. Says to stretch each one gently to about the length of the pan and twist. Oh my goodness. Okay, so you do the best you can do. Twist. Oh my. Here we go. All right, that one may come apart. This is the first time I've ever done this, guys. Go easy on me. We're just gonna have 2 pieces. How about that? All right, let's get the rest done. Alrighty, guys. Now on that last third of the dough, I did not do 8 pieces. I only did 4 just to see what happened because these are really thin and I don't know if I'm doing it right. So we'll see what happens. Let's get these in the oven for 25 minutes at 350 degrees. Let's get back to our pasta and finish it up. I'm just going to take what pesto we had left over from the grissini. I hope I'm saying that right. If I'm not, y'all correct me. But anyway, we're going to take this pesto, pour it over the pasta. We're going to add a little bit more lemon juice. If you have fresh lemons, that's great. Oh, well, you don't want to squish it all over your kitchen like I just did. Anyway, just give it a toss. And this is done, unless you want any other spices such as salt or garlic, oregano, whatever you might like. Alrighty, what we will do at this point, I don't want this as a warm salad, I want it as a cold salad, so I'm going to just cover it and put it in the refrigerator until it's time to eat. Alright, whoa, here we go. I think they're done. Let's let them cool, and they're done. Okay, guys. I gotta quit calling y'all guys. I don't know why I do that. I don't ever say that in real life. We are done. It was a long day in the kitchen, but I think it was worth it. Alyssa worked just as long and hard as I did. There we go. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know I love it when you come and spend a few minutes with me. Now, I will post the recipe for the bread and a link for the cake. So, the pasta was just mine. I'll tell you what I put in it. There really is no recipe. So, until we meet again, may you be blessed. Love you guys. Mwah.